Hi, it's Etharal here, and today we are back with our Stellaris Warhammer 40,000 Imperium of Man cosmetic mod gameplay, where obviously we are playing as the Tau. So we have been steadily expanding in the northern sector of this area of space. So we're expanding pretty well, so you can see we're up to 4 planets now. So we've got, a decent size. We are about to hit the maximum of everything. Obviously we do have as well, I believe, a colony ship on its way to actually begin moving on to that 5th planet as well. And at the end of the last one, we had found early space age civilization of orcs, and we have actually built an observation platform on the sort of in orbit around them to begin actually sort of discovering about them. I'd like to think obviously the Tau, obviously in the games, as people may know, they do obviously use a version of some minor sort of stealth technology, so I'd like to think that that outpost is built with the best sort of technology in terms of stealth that the Tau can bring to bear to basically be able to support keeping this done when these are people who they are early space age, so they are sort of going to the moon sort of level, so only 50-60 years behind where we are now, really, maybe going to the moon and starting to launch satellites into space and all of those sorts of things. So obviously we've probably got to be careful that they won't just discover us, although I say that, although we are actually we are going to be at some point in the future, I think we are going to look at actually raising them up to actual space era race and see how that does go for us. Obviously with them being orcs, not sure on that one, but we'll wait and see how it goes. And so here I see one of our unfortunate scientists who is our main researcher, expanding the technologies that we are bringing into this sector that are specifically sort of designed to meet the needs of this sector, rather than just bringing all of everything to do with Tau or with them. They're sort of developing it as they go and as needed. He has unfortunately passed away. It was, I think, in his 80s or so, I think it was, if I remember rightly. Certainly not, a young chap or anything like that, obviously, and obviously has been, finally passed away, leaving a good sort of reputation behind for having expanded us in terms of research in the early years of the actual civilized Tau Empire in this sector of space. And so, getting back to the game though, we are obviously steadily exploring. We're trying to get some more areas to sort of move into and trying to find some new ones. One thing I have realised that would be really, really nice, unfortunately we just cannot seem to get, unfortunately, does seem to be the fact that we cannot seem to actually find any different planetary colonisation technologies, which would be really, really useful to have and would make this game go a lot easier, and we'd be able to expand a lot further. As you can see, these are some sort of like yellow planets, so ones that we're not ideally suited for, but at the same time, it's not going to kill us being on them or anything like that, so it could be certainly a lot worse, which are planets that we would really like to actually go on to, but unfortunately, as I say there, we don't have colonization for arid planets, which is less than ideal and is seriously limiting the actual places that we can expand onto, and is probably going to slow down our empire's growth by quite a considerable bit, which again, not what we want. But who knows, we might be able to actually do it eventually. We have managed to obviously find one planet there, which we are going to obviously be able to expand onto. So, that will be now our 5th planet, and that will be sort of the core systems that we have for our empire. We are obviously building another colony ship. We have enough money and everything to be able to support it, I believe, so we're going to look at hopefully being able to get that one a little bit further and then ready, so that these obviously 3 science ships that we've got going out exploring the galaxy, who knows, they might be able to actually find us another planet that we can move on to, and we can start building our first AI controlled sector, which, always will be a good thing to do. So here, the Tau, they are very much sort of aware of the situation they're in. They are getting steadily closer. Do see, obviously, there was the tech priest sort of style guys, if I remember rightly, to our eastern border, who are steadily moving this way as well, so they're getting closer to us, which is a little bit of a worrying one. We want to definitely expand further in the other direction. I think it's going to force us again, although we are checking as many planets in that direction as we can first, just basically with the intention that, okay, since these guys are coming this way, if there is anything that that's really good that we want to grab before they get to us, then yes, we'll do that first, basically. So here we are just sort of steadily expanding, though we are also as well looking towards our western borders. There's quite a dense sort of cluster of planets over there with some pretty good sort of minerals that we can get and everything, so we are going to look at potentially expanding into those as well. Although if we can find a planet that we can actually colonize, that is probably the one thing that is actually holding these Tau back, unfortunately. And there you go, you can see our Hydra Cordulus Prima Hydra. Now, it's a long name for a colony that is actually finally starting to expand. And one thing that we'll be keeping an eye out, obviously I do have the update here, which will hopefully has, added some stuff for the mid game to make it a little bit more interesting with the colony phase. Hopefully we should be able to see some of the effects of that coming into play over the coming episodes. Obviously, if anybody does have any experience with them, do let me know, and anything to, watch out for. It can never hurt to know. You can see here as well that obviously we have stopped building with our colony ships. Basically we don't really have very much to do with them, and unfortunately we are actually in a money deficit. Luckily we were at the max amount of energy credits that we could have at this time, so it's not a case that we're in any risk of running out anytime soon, and we should be able to support a deficit for a little while. There we go, it's already gone down to -4 rather than -10, so that is a very, very big increase. So it's 8 less that we're losing per month. So we'll be in a good position hopefully to be able to expand. Obviously this planet here, as you can see, there is also as well a good number of energy credit sort of buildings that we can potentially build on there, so that should hopefully allow us to be able to get rid of this deficit within the near future, and certainly before we start going bankrupt or anything like that. And obviously even if we do go bankrupt and that, obviously we've got a load of ships that we could potentially get rid of if we absolutely did need to, although that is not something that we're going to do unless we are literally about to go to 0 credit and we are still losing money and we have absolutely no other choice. Any other situation, we are going to be keeping this military, as it is what is going to allow us to basically be able to defend ourselves against any enemies. Have also as well started to raise up those actual orcs, and they are around about halfway there, so they are going to basically become a vassal state to us. That'll be sort of defending this southeastern border. Obviously hopefully we should be able to use them pretty easily as a buffer between us and the encroaching guys from the east, or at least that's the plan. And obviously if we can keep them for long enough, then eventually we will actually look at using them to just subjugate them into the empire, and then obviously that does give us another race that can potentially be inhabiting other planets, and therefore we will be able to expand ourselves a little bit better and hopefully improve yet again on our options that we do have in this game. Although we will obviously again have to see how that one goes. I think that's going to be more late game. The main sort of objectives at the minute is basically just to build ourselves up, get our second sector and everything like that, before then looking at the later ones. And then obviously is when you start to go into sort of the war phases and everything like that, and try and hopefully take out these other empires. Obviously at the minute though we're going to look at improving our actual planets themselves. Tau is definitely a very good planet that we will really be able to get a lot of benefits out of, as we are obviously getting it further and further, and it has obviously increasing its population, allowing us to be able to build increasing number of buildings on there, which is very good, as it has quite a large area that we'll be able to expand very, very far into. So we'll just mention, if you are enjoying these videos, obviously please do be sure to subscribe. It's great to get to see and everything, and obviously you will get notifications for new videos coming out, so that way you're never going to have a risk of missing a Stellaris Let's Play video if it is something that you are enjoying. And so here you can see that we are steadily sort of exploring around this area. We are steadily actually going to lose it. We've got about a quarter or so. Yeah, I'd say just under 20% actually, no. Yeah, about 20% or so before we should be able to raise those orcs up to a space era people. Whether we will be able to do that, and how well it's going to go, fingers crossed, it should go quite well, but I can't obviously always guarantee, as I'm sure you can imagine, with them being orcs as well, they might not be too happy under our rule. Orcs tend to be a little bit aggressive, to say the very least, obviously, but, we'll give them a try and we will see how they go as vassals. If not, luckily we do have the jump on them, and it's a good chance that we will be able to just basically remove them out of the game if they do become a bit of an upstart against us or anything like that. Not likely to happen, but you never know. We'll see exactly how that one obviously goes. And so here everything is just steadily sort of ticking over. We have obviously built our other colony ship so that as soon as obviously we do find a planet that we can expand to, literally plan is literally just to send that straight away, grab that ship, get that not the ship, get the planet sorted straight away, get that ship sent straight to it, and then get into our first sector, which again obviously is the idea. Luckily this actual people here, we decided to have a look at trying to see whether they could possibly consider attacking this guy, but then when we actually do look at, we get some reports basically, and there is actually two 740 guys right next to each other, so it's very likely that they were both swarmers, and I don't think that actually we would like the chances of trying that one. So Etharal does decide to actually move his fleet back to a safe distance and get out of that system. Just better safe than sorry. Last thing we want to do is to be trying to do something like that, and then unfortunately actually lose our whole first fleet. And we do obviously have another fleet of 3 ships, although that one, is nothing too major, although if we did bring it into this one, would put us over 750 for this actual the fleet, although we probably won't do that. We'll keep this one as just a little bit of a backup emergency one, so that way if something does happen, we've always got at least that small little tiny buffer that we can maybe use against other things to slow things down if the worst was to happen with our Empire's main fleet, obviously. And so here, just going around, obviously, yet again, just having a look at trying to expand our various different planets, make sure that they're improving as much as possible. Our new one is steadily improving there. Obviously we've now got some farms and everything set up. This is an area, as you can see here, I would really like to colonize on the western side, although getting those actual things where I can do that is not going to really seem to work where I can get the actual technologies. So this thing here, it's saying that we cannot, because of our laws and everything against colonization and interaction, I'm guessing, with lower species. I'm not quite sure why that is the case. I'm guessing there might be actual species somewhere nearby that we aren't aware of. We will have to I'll have a bit of a look into that between now likely and the next video, and see if I can try and find out why it is that we aren't able to colonize that one. And oh, there we go, our actual thingy, the orcs have become raised up to a space area. You can see they've got sort of the orange and the black, so you can tell that they are sort of related to us, and so there they are, looking very orky and big and, well, cobbled together would be the nice way of putting it. They are not happy to be us, pathetic and disloyal. So they are disloyal. Yep, they will hopefully be able to last for the sort of 10 years or so that it'll take to actually get them to a point where they will be able to actually, be of use to us and be able to bring them into the actual, there you go, integrate the subjects, so bring them completely into the Empire, not just as a vassal state. I mean, that's probably not going to be something that's going to happen anytime soon, but you never know, we can at least give it a go and see. And oh, there we go, we have actually now, because of all of everything that we've been doing, we have now finally managed to get a +7 on our resources, obviously with having, improved a lot of the buildings and everything like that. And just trying to have a look here, obviously as well, just to see if I can try and work out a little bit of why that's doing what it is. Can't really seem to figure it out. I'm sure it'll be in there somewhere. I'm not sure whether it's policies or whatever it is, but I'll like I say, I'll have a bit of a look into that at a later date. I will probably have a look at possibly moving some of these actual policies around as well at a later point, but I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to have a good mess around with those, and obviously I'm sure we've got better things to be doing in this video, really. And so here we are just going to have a bit of a look though. So the Tower Empire, they haven't unfortunately expanded very much, have managed to get ourselves another planet, so we are steadily moving. We are, by the looks of things, we do seem to be actually possibly creeping a little bit further forward, a little bit larger than the other races that we are aware of, so we are finding ourselves in a reasonably good position for everything at the minute. I think what we'll do is I will possibly skip forward a little bit of time between now and the next one, and then be able to see hopefully quite a drastic change to the Tau Empire, obviously, if we give it, you know, a couple of years and everything like that there. So I'll pretty much gonna leave it here for today and everything. So thank you obviously very much for watching. Obviously, if you did enjoy the video, do be sure to subscribe. Obviously, I'm putting videos out very regularly now. I'm going to be aiming for at least sort of 3 or 4 every single week if I can, and obviously don't want you to miss out on those. So I will just say, obviously, you know, the sooner you subscribe, the sooner you're going to get your notifications, and then less chance you're going to miss anything that actually you would probably really like, obviously. So thank you very much for watching. I have been Etharal here at EGN, and I shall see you next time.